Good morning, students. So start with the accountancy 12th class, chapter 4, accounting ratios or ratio analysis. And till now we have done liquidity ratio and solvency ratio. And we were doing turnover ratios. And the second turnover ratio, which we did yesterday, was trade receivable turnover ratio. And 2-3 questions I had given you for homework. So first of all, we will be discussing those questions. Then we will be doing today's topic. Okay, students. So the first question, from the following particulars determine the trade receivables at the end of the year. So here you have to determine trade receivables. What? Trade receivables. Okay, students, trade receivables at the end of the year. Credit RFO was already given, 17,52,000. So credit is already given. Then trade receivable turnover ratio is given 6 times. Then trade receivable in the beginning of the year was given 2,84,000. So we have to find out trade receivables at the end. So you have to just put the values in the formula. So what is the formula? The formula is credit RFO upon average trade receivables. So whose answer is correct, they can give me answer in chat that their answer is correct. Okay. So 17,52,000 upon 6, which is equal to 2,92,000. Then average trade receivable is equal to 2,92,000. Then calculation of closing trade receivable. So you have to put the values in formula. Then you will be getting the answer for closing trade receivable. Okay, all of you have done correct. Next question. This was the next question. Credit revenue from operations. Credit revenue from operations of X Limited. During the year, 3 lakh. First variable of the ratio is already given, that is 3 lakh. If trade receivables turnover ratio is 5 times, then calculate trade receivables in the beginning and at the end. And at the end. Both trade receivables you have to calculate in the beginning and at the end of the year. And one information is given, that is closing trade receivables are 2 times in comparison to opening trade receivables. Closing trade receivables are 2 times in the comparison of opening trade receivables. Okay, so again we have to put the value in the formula, and mathematically you have to solve whatever is not given. By making equation you can easily find out. So the answer is 40,000 and 80,000. Why, Varun Bhadia, you are writing answer to everyone? Next question was, I think, tell me the question number, which question I had given you. I think question number 76. And this question, as you can see, in 2019 exams has come. Okay, so here trade receivable turnover ratio 4 times, trade receivable turnover ratio 4 times, cost of RFO 6,40,000, GP ratio 20%. So one thing I want to tell you here, that whenever GP ratio is given, so and nothing is mentioned in the question that it is on cost or it is on sales, only GP ratio is given. GP ratio is given and it is not mentioned that it is on cost or it is on sale, then we will assume that GP ratio is on sales. Okay, students, GP ratio is on sales. So this is the answer. Closing trade receivables were 20,000 more than in the beginning. So average trade receivables we have to find out. Then the cash revenue from operations being 33 1 by 3. Whenever fraction in this manner is given in the question, it means 1/3. If you don't want to solve this fraction, then 33 1 by 3 means 1/3. Like if 25% is given, then it means 1/4. So similarly, 33 1 by 3 means 1/3 of credit RFO. So now this is the solution. Tell me, is it correct or not? Yes, students, tell me, is it correct or not? Yes. Gross profit 20% of RFO. And sales are given. Just a minute. Gross profit is 20% and COGS is given 640. COGS is given and GP is not mentioned that on what it is. So we will assume that it is on sales. Whenever gross profit is just written in the question and it is not told that it is on sales or on cost, then we will assume that it is on sales because gross profit is always calculated on sales. So 20%. But here COGS is given. So the in earlier classes I told you the formula. So if it is given on sales and COGS is given, then 100 minus 20. So the RFO will be equal to 100 upon 80 into 640. So the RFO is 8 lakh. This thing I think not new for you people, already in 11th class, chapter 18, or no, chapter 17, we did the topic where we were finding out the COGS. So that is the same thing. So the gross RFO is 8 lakh. Now it is mentioned in the question that cash RFO is 1/3 of credit RFO. So we'll be making an equation that cash RFO is 1/3 of credit RFO. So we can take credit RFO is equal to X and cash RFO is 1/3. So cash RFO will be X by 3 and total RFO, which we have already calculated 8 lakh. So we will be making an equation that X plus X by 3 is equal to 8 lakh. So finding out the value of X, we will be able to find out the answer. And we have to just put the values. Credit RFO is 6 lakh. Just by solving the equation X plus X by 3. Or we can do it in fraction form also. Or we can do it by taking X. So X is X plus X by 3 is equal to 8 lakh. So we'll be able to find out the credit RFO, which is given 6 lakh. Now find out the average trade receivables, 1,50,000. And it is already given in the question that closing trade receivables were 20,000 more than in the beginning. So the average is 150. Average trade receivables. Total trade receivables will be 3 lakh. And you can find out by making the equation. The closing trade receivables are 20,000 more than the opening 1,000. So 1,40,000 and 1,60,000. This is a very important question. So write down the next formula, which is trade payable turnover ratio. It is very easy. When you have done the inventory turnover ratio and trade receivable turnover ratio, both of these were a little bit difficult as compared to others. But the now rest two ratios which are left in this portion are very easy. So trade payable turnover ratio is the third ratio. Everything will remain same. Only one thing will change, that whatever the formula we have done in trade receivable turnover ratio, that will be replaced. Both the variables in the formula will be replaced by trade payables. So like trade receivables comes into existence just because of credit sales. So similarly, trade payables comes into existence because of credit purchases. So the first variable in the formula will be net credit purchases. Net credit purchases upon There we were using trade payables, trade receivables. Here we will be using average trade payables. So we can say the formula is same. Only the concepts are changed. There we were taking net credit sales because we were calculating receivable ratio. Receivables comes into existence because of credit sales. So similarly, payables comes into existence because of credit purchases. So the first variable in the formula will be net credit purchases upon average trade payables. Net credit purchases upon average trade payables, and the answer will be coming again in times. Now average trade payables, same formula, opening trade payables plus closing trade payables divided by 2, or we can say opening creditors plus opening BP plus closing creditors plus closing BP divided by 2. So next is average payment period is not the part of course, so I am not explaining here. And trade payable ratio shows the relationship in the credit purchases and the trade payables. Okay, what is the relationship in between the credit purchases and the average trade payables? And make sure one thing here, that higher the trade payable turnover ratio means we are making payment fastly, so which is not good for us. Suppose the creditors have allowed us a period of 90 days, and every time we are making payment in just 10 days, it means we are not taking the benefit of 80 days. We can make the payment little bit later. So higher debtor turnover ratio is good, but the lower trade payable turnover ratio is good, vice versa, because in trade receivable turnover ratio we will be getting the payment, and in trade payables turnover ratio we will be making the payment. So getting the payment fast is important, and making payment late is important, because we will be able to use that money for a longer period if we are not returning it back to the creditors. So the lower ratio is better, not the higher ratio is better. So high ratio also indicates that the enterprise is not availing full credit period, which I have explained you, like the full credit period, credit granted by our supplier is 90 days, but we are making payment after 2 days. It means we are not taking the benefit of the remaining 70 days. So if higher ratio is there, it means the enterprise is not availing fully credit period. But if our ratio is very much high, then definitely we will be having a good credit worthiness in the market. Credit worthiness means our the suppliers or the creditors will be ready to grant us credit, to provide goods on credit, because they know that very fastly we will be making the payment. So it will be related to the credit worthiness of the enterprise. Okay, students. So now do the question. I have displayed one question. You have to just put the values in the formula, write down. I am also speaking of the question, that is the total purchases. Total purchases, write down 8,50,000. Cash purchases 1 lakh. Purchase return 50,000. Creditors at the end of the year 1,60,000. Creditors in the beginning 1,20,000. So remember the formula. The formula is net credit purchases. Net credit purchases. Formula is net credit purchases upon average trade payables. Net credit purchases. Net credit purchases upon average trade payables. Write your answers. I am waiting for the answers. Okay. Many of you have given me answer. I'm waiting for some more answers. Okay. Yes, many students has given me answer. So again, the total purchases 8,50,000, but here we have to consider the credit purchases. So total purchases minus cash purchases minus purchase returns will be equal to net credit purchases. 7 lakh upon average trade payables, creditors in the beginning plus creditors at the end divided by 2. 2,80,000 divided by 2, which is equal to 1,40,000. So the answer is 5 times. Very good, students. Now going with the next question. Start doing. I'm reading the question. Opening sundry creditors 80,000. Make sure that it is opening 80,000. Opening bills payable 3,000. Closing sundry creditors 1 lakh. Closing bills payable 17,000. Purchases 14 lakh. Closing bills payable 17,000. Purchases 14 lakh. Cash purchases 5 lakh. Purchase return 1 lakh. Very simple question. You have to just put the values and tell me the answer. Opening creditor plus opening BP plus closing creditor plus closing BP divided by 2 will be the average trade payables. Then purchases 14 lakh minus cash purchases 5 lakh minus purchase return 1 lakh. 14 lakh minus 6 lakh. 8 lakh will be the credit purchases, net credit purchases. And the average trade payables, yes, very good. Everyone has given me correct answer. Very good, students. 8 times. So the answer here is 8 times. Now, illustration number 91. Write down. Closing trade payables 90,000. Closing trade payables 90,000. Net purchases 7,20,000. Cash purchases 1,80,000. Net purchases are already given. So, but you need net credit purchases. So what you will do? Net purchases 720 minus cash purchases 180. So 540. And now closing trade payables are given 90,000. No information is given about opening. So I told you earlier, when no information is given about opening, then need not to calculate average. Yes, you will be dividing by 90,000 itself. You will be not calculating average trade payables. Why? Because only closing are given and no information is given about opening. Okay. So in that case, the need not to calculate the average, need not to divide it by 2 by assuming opening 0. So the answer is 6 times. Very good. Next. Start doing this question. I think this question will take little bit more time because it's a very important 4-marker question. And I'm reading the question side by side. You can start doing. From the following information, calculate opening and closing trade payables. Opening and closing trade payables. Cash purchases 25%. Cash purchases 25% of total purchases. Revenue from operations 10 lakh. Gross profit 25% of RFO. So it's very much easy to find out RFO. Gross profit 10 lakh, 25% of gross profit. So 10 lakh, 25%, 2,50,000. Then opening inventory 2,50,000. Closing inventory 5 lakh. Inventories are also given. Trade payable turnover ratio 3 times. Closing trade payables 2,50,000. In excess of opening trade payables. So here you have to find out opening and closing trade payables. Make sure some information can be there which is of no use. Okay. So cost of RFO, first step, we will be finding out. Cost of RFO, I told you earlier too, that it's 7,50,000. One thing you can see in this question is very tricky and important question. In this question, no information is given about total purchases. So how we can find out the total purchases? Do you remember the formula of COGS? You have to put the values in the formula of COGS and you can find out the total purchase. What was the second formula of COGS? Second formula of COGS. First formula we have already applied 750. Second formula was opening stock plus net purchases plus direct expense minus closing stock. Direct expenses are not given in the question, so we will assume it 0. Direct expense, we will assume it as 0. But opening and closing, both stocks are given. So put the values. 750 is equal to, COGS is 750. So 750 is equal to opening stock 250. Assume purchases as X plus X minus closing stock 5 lakh. So the total purchases, find out the value of X in the given equation. So total purchases are equal to 10 lakh. Okay. Now we need only credit purchases. So what is given in the question? Cash. This is the third step. Step by step we have to solve the question, and for each step we will be getting the marks. Okay. So cash purchases 25% of the total purchases. Now total purchases we have got 10 lakh and the cash purchases is 25% of total purchases. So 25% of 10 lakh, which is equal to 2,50,000. So credit purchases will be equal to 7,50,000. Total purchases, yes, 7,50,000. Many students have sold it. So I'm just checking their answers. And now put the values in the formula. Formula is net credit purchases upon average trade payables. Make sure that if there are any 3 or 4 variables, if 3 variables are given, then 2 must be given. Third one you can find out by making the equation, by cross multiplying, by changing the sides of the equation. Okay, so similarly step by step we are going. In the first step we have found out the cost of RFO. In second step, by putting the formula of cost of RFO, which we have already studied in 11th class too, we will be able to find out total purchases. Okay, then out of the total purchases, by the given equation in the question, cash purchases 25%. We need to find out the cash purchases, which is 250. So total purchases minus cash purchases, which is equal to 750. This is the, yes, this is the answer. 7,50,000. Net credit purchases are 7,50,000 upon X plus X plus 250. What is this? Opening trade payables are given in the question and the closing trade payables are, I am reading again, closing trade payables were 2,50,000 in excess of opening trade payables. So let assume opening trade payables as X and the closing trade payables will be X plus 2,50,000. So make the equation like this, or what you can else you can do, that just write the average trade payables. So by using this formula, average trade payables will be equal to 2,50,000. Average trade payables I am talking about, 2,50,000. Now put the values in the formula of average trade payables and find out the value of X. And I think it's a very simple equation of X and easily you can find out the value of X. So the value of X here is closing trade payables 1,25,000. Sorry, opening trade payables X is 1,25,000 and closing trade payables are 2,50,000 more than the opening trade payables. So put the value in the equation X plus 250. So the answer is 3,75,000. If you will try to solve the question, whole of the question at once in one go, then it will not be possible. So try to solve in steps. Whatever is given in the question, use that first, then you will be getting the second figure. Then with the second figure, you will be able to find out the third figure. Similarly, in this question we have done. This question has been done. It's a very important question actually. Again, I'm explaining in 4 steps. Step 1, whatever is given, use that. So whatever, what is given in the question, RFO is clearly given and GP rate is given. So first use these two things, and by using these two things we'll be able to know the cost of RFO or COGS. Now we need total purchases, but no clue is given in the question about the total purchases. So how we can calculate it? Run your mind and think about. So total purchases was in the second formula of COGS. Now write the second formula of COGS. What was the second formula of COGS? COGS is equal to opening stock plus net purchases. Net purchases means total purchases minus returns, plus direct expense minus closing stock. But here direct expenses are not given. I told you whenever no information is given about direct expenses, then assume it 0. So now just putting the value in the formula and do the interchange of the sides, you will be able to know the amount of total purchases, which is equal to 10 lakh. Now again we have not found the credit purchases. So now next again use the information given in the question that the cash purchases are 25% of the total purchases. So the total purchases are 10 lakh and cash purchases is 25% of it. So 25% of 10 lakh, which is equal to 2,50,000. Now write the formula for credit purchases. Credit purchases are equal to total purchases minus cash purchases. So the answer is equal to 7,50,000. Now the last step, finding out the average trade payables. So now put the values. Net credit purchases TPTR ratio is equal to net credit purchases upon average trade payables. So 3 variables are there in the formula and we are having 2. Put the values of 2 and keep the third variable as X. Keep the third variable as X or average trade payables. So just by cross multiplying, we will be able to get the average trade payables is equal to 2,50,000. Average trade payables. If you don't want to do question in such a manner, so for some student it will be difficult. So I am telling you one easy way, that is the find out the average trade payable by putting the values by cross multiplying. So the average trade payable value will be 2,50,000. Net credit purchase is 750 divided by 3. So that is equal to 2,50,000. Now put the formula of average trade payables, which is opening plus closing divided by 2 is equal to 250. Now assume x plus 250 and find out the value of x. So last topic of turnover ratio, that is the working capital turnover ratio. Write down. Working capital turnover ratio, write down the formula, that is the RFO upon working capital. RFO means net sales. Net sales means cash sales plus credit sales minus returns. RFO upon working capital. Revenue from operations upon working capital. Okay. If no information is given in the question about RFO, then we can also use cost of RFO upon working capital. But make sure cost of RFO will be used only when we are not able to find out RFO. If we are able by solving the equations, then we have to use RFO in the formula. Cost of RFO is the second alternate, which can be used only when there is no information about RFO. Okay. And working capital is a very familiar concept for you people because in earlier ratios we did that. Current assets minus current liabilities. And this ratio shows the relationship between the sales revenue and the working capital. Okay, it shows the number of times a unit of rupee invested in working capital. Higher the ratio is, but obvious is the better ratio, and the lower the ratio is the not better for the business. The objective of computing the ratio is to ascertain what is the main objective of this ratio. Objective of calculating any ratio can come in exam. So that is whether the working capital has been effectively used in generating revenues or not. Whether the working capital has been effectively used in generating revenues. It means there must not be no excess of inventory, no excess of debtors, because working capital means all the current assets minus current liabilities. So higher the ratio is better. Higher ratio means efficient use of working capital. Yes, Anmol. What is your doubt? You are writing me that you have one doubt. So tell me fast because we are short of time. What is your doubt, Anmol? So if you are not hearing me, we can discuss it later on. So the formula is, you can give me in writing, Anmol. So objective of this ratio is that how the working capital is effectively used or not. So I'm going for the question. So formula I'm repeating, RFO upon working capital or cost of RFO upon working capital. The answer will be again in times. So higher the ratio is better ratio. So in turnover ratios, we did 4 ratios, and every ratio, higher ratio is better ratio, which means the effective utilization of current assets as well as of the inventory, of the trade receivable. All of these are current assets, but the only one ratio was there which was lower better. Which ratio? Yes, which ratio? That I told you, trade payable turnover ratios. Yes, Anmol is asking why we can use cost of RFO from operations can be taken in place of RFO. Yes, sometime in question, like I told you earlier, that if opening stock is not given in the question, opening debtors are not given in the question, then we are not able to find out that. So in such type of question, the formula, we need not to calculate the average. We can do the solution just by with the given figure. So similarly here, if no, the we have to use the sales or the RFO in the given question. But if in 1% case, only in 1% case, you are not able to calculate RFO. It means in question, the information about the RFO is skipped by any of the manner, by mistake or by any of the thing. In that case, you can use cost of RFO, because at once, long back at once in CBSE that was happened, that a cost of RFO came in the exam, but no clue was given to find out RFO. So in that case, whatever you have in the question, you have to use that. Okay, so that's why we can also calculate this ratio by taking cost of RFO instead of RFO. And one more important thing I just want to tell you here, because the only difference in cost of RFO and RFO is GP. Okay, if you are calculating this ratio with RFO, it means GP is included, and if not with RFO, it means GP is not included. Rest the other things are same, so answer will not be affected much. But remember that you have to consider RFO only. You will be considering cost of RFO only when no information is given regarding RFO. So am I clear, Anmol? Yes, Anmol, am I clear? So now do the question. The question is working capital, you have to calculate working capital turnover ratio. So it's a simple question. Current assets 9 lakh, revenue from operations 30 lakh, current liabilities 3 lakh, sales return 50,000. So just put the value. This is the easiest ratio of turnover ratios. RFO upon working capital. RFO upon working capital. So everyone can see the answer. RFO is given here 30 lakh. Make sure some students may deduct sales return from here. But remember that whenever RFO is given in the question, RFO means net sales. Net sales means returns are already deducted. So need not to deduct the returns. Okay, RFO means net sales. Current assets 9 lakh, current liabilities 3 lakh. So sales return will not be used at all here. So 9 lakh minus 3 lakh, which is equal to 6 lakh. So 30 lakh upon 6 lakh, answer is 5 times. Do the next question, which is current assets 12 lakh, current liabilities 2 lakh 40,000, sales, credit sales are given 24 lakh, and cash sales are given 520, and sales return are also given. So two variables are there, both you have to calculate. RFO upon working capital. What is the formula for RFO? Cash sales plus credit sales minus returns. Cash sales plus credit sales minus returns. Okay. Cash sales equal to 24 lakh. Credit sales, sorry, 24 lakh, and cash 5 lakh 20,000. So 29 lakh 20,000 minus 40,000. So 28 lakh 80,000. 28 lakh 80,000. Now find out working capital. Current assets minus current liabilities. 12 lakh minus 240, which is equal to 9 lakh 60,000. Okay, so the answer will be 2880 upon 960, which is equal to 3 times. One last question, students. Cost of RFO 150, current assets 1 lakh, current liabilities 75. Here in this question, you can see that we are not able to find out RFO because no information is given regarding RFO. So we don't have any option. We cannot find out RFO. So replace RFO with cost of RFO. That's it. So in such type of questions, these type of formula we have to use when no other information is given. Okay, students. So I am ending the class here now. Today we have completed the turnover ratios. So I'll be sending you assignment. Okay. Thank you for being with me.